It's officially fall, so let's celebrate with this cute rustic pumpkin rock painting design. Let's get started. I'm lining out the shape of a pumpkin on this rock, and then I'm going to give a nice little quick base coat with Liquitex gesso. I did not smooth this rock out using the spackle like I usually do, and I probably could have, but I didn't. So now I'm going to take some sun-kissed peach and give a nice background to this pumpkin, because this design is all about blending. So it's going to be back and forth with a lot of colors and just kind of blending and creating a rustic look. And because it's so much about blending, I'm not going to let this paint dry too much, or I'm not going to worry about it being dry in between coats when I start mixing the colors, because I want the colors to kind of mush together and create a neat blended look. So now I'm coming in with a tropic orange. It's kind of like a darker peach color, and I'm just going to start creating some dimension and some blending around the curves and kind of where you would see the lines in a pumpkin, just creating some blended back and forth with the peach and the tropic orange to see how this color kind of plays out. Now I'm going to get in there with some apricot. I'm not sure how you say that. Is it like tomato? But in any case, I'm going to get in there with this color because it's probably the orangiest of the three that I used. And I want to use it around the edges and in the center to create kind of the shape and the lines of the pumpkin. So these colors are more, I would say more in the peachy family than they are the orange. But they definitely lean orange, just I didn't use any of the bright Halloween or pumpkin orange paints. So what you'll see me doing is putting the paint down and then coming back with a wet paintbrush to kind of blend it in with the other colors underneath it. I also came back through with some parchment color. It's kind of like a very light off-white color, just to add a little bit of dimension around those lines for the middle of the pumpkin as well. You can definitely see all of the divots in this rock, and I really had to pay attention to making sure that the paint got in there. So I kind of wish that I had done my trick and smoothed it with the spackle ahead of time just to give a nice smooth canvas, but it still worked, and I think it gives it some character. Now that I've got the pumpkin the way I want it, I'm going to add a stem, and I'm going to use gold paint because I'm going for kind of a metallic look to create the rustic look with the flowers. So I wanted the stem and the little curlicues to be gold. And I'm going to use this copper, berry, and rose gold metallic paint to create some flowers, and I'm using kind of the similar technique that you've seen me do on a lot of my designs, where I create kind of these swirly flowers and then I swirl another color into it, and they look kind of like flower petals, kind of abstract flower petals. And these metallic paints definitely take a couple of coats to make sure that you've got solid coverage, but I'm just swirling them on, going from the berry to the copper to the rose gold, and creating this nice little cascade of flowers around the top of the pumpkin. Now that I'm coming in for more filling in on that opacity, I'm not going to worry about this coat drying. I want it to still be wet, and then I'm going to come in with a disposable eyeliner brush and the rose gold, because it's the lighter color to give it the most contrast, and just kind of swirl in some flower petals. And you can go back and forth between the dark base color and the lighter color you're swirling in just to give it the effect you want. Whenever you're happy with the way it's swirling or the petals that you're drawing in, you can stop. Just one of the keys is to make sure that paint is not dry when you start swirling. So add that little base coat on the same color as the main flower, and while it's still wet, come in with that contrasting color and start swirling. To keep with that metallic theme, I'm going to put metallic green leaves kind of smothered all over our little cascading flowers. And this also will take a couple of coats to make sure that I get solid coverage, but it just adds a little pop of color and greenery. Now I'm going to take two different sizes, the 0.8 and the 0.2 of my Uni Pin Fine Line pens, and I'm going to create the swirls and the petals within the flowers. So I'm just kind of making like a circular swirl, and then you can kind of make little C-shaped petals. It's however you want to do it, and just kind of abstract, but it gives a little bit more definition to the colors that we swirled in there. I'm also going to use the 0.2 Uni Pin Fine Liner to outline those leaves and put a little line down the middle just to give them a little more definition as well. Now I'm going to take a broad-tipped Uni Posca paint pen, and my pumpkin wasn't quite centered, and I was going to write something like fall vibes or hello fall, but then I thought, oh, let's do something where it starts on the pumpkin and then it carries through to that naked part of the rock. So I decided to write grateful on here, and I'm using the Posca pen as a base coat, and then I'm going to come back through with gold paint, and I'm taking a fine disposable eyeliner brush to fill in the little divots with the gold paint first to make sure that there's coverage there and no white is popping through. And then I just came through with a fine paintbrush and put the gold paint all over the lettering. The rest of my pumpkin needs an outline, so I'm going to do that with one of the Uni Pin Fine Liners very carefully because I don't want to tear up the pen tip. And then I'm going to come back with some gold glitter paint and a dotting tool and just really sparkle up that gold paint on the letters. So I like using a dotting tool when I have enough space to kind of put it on there and push it around, and it gives good coverage for glitter paint. And then because I wanted the lettering to pop a little bit more, I came back through with one of those fine liners and created a shadow by going to the side and down from each letter. I just created that shadow just to make those letters pop up off of the rock a little bit more. And then a little resin later, and this thing is so cute and it's so sparkly and so much character even with those holes. And this is another one that I played around with the same kind of rustic idea but a different color palette. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch. I hope you're as excited about fall as I am. I can't wait to see what you're going to create. Click on this video for some more fun ideas. Take care, and I'll see you next time.